Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What Do You Say Anime. I'm your host, Peter. On today's episode, we will be giving our first impressions of the currently airing summer anime seasonals. Normally, we do this a little later after we get our feet wet in shows, but Jay and I are going to Vegas soon, and we're going to be a little busy, so we're getting you that content today. Speaking of Jay, he recently charted in the top 5 of the recent What Do You Say Anime popularity poll, and will be joining me on today's episode. Jay, how you doing today?
I'm happy to report that, I wasn't number 5. Our Fujo fans, they seem to really enjoy the shipping wars. I'm not actually, I don't ship us, please. I don't want to see the fan art. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy to report that I am rising up the ranks. I knocked Johnny out of the top 5, so we're doing good.
Yeah, controversial this week with Pat being number 1, so we'll get into see what all that
Crazy.
shenanigans are going on there. But Jay, coming into this season, we felt like it was going to be a little bit less than spring and a possible catch-up season. With a few episodes out of the way for some shows, how are you feeling about this season at the starting gates?
Honestly, pleasantly surprised by the quality of shows this season. I was definitely in the neighborhood of people who were saying that this was going to be a catch-up season for me. I was originally going to use the season to watch a bunch of like really old stuff that I hadn't been able to watch before just because of seasons being packed the past couple of seasons. But there's some quality hitters here, honestly. Like I think we'll talk more about it in a bit, but Zom 100 for sure a breakout. The first 2 episodes of that were amazing. Helck surprisingly good, and then obviously we have bangers like Jujutsu Kaisen, Mushoku Tensei, and Bleach returning hitters that everybody was excited for. So excited to get into that.
Yeah, I think for me, usually I'm in the boat of I watch 22, 25 shows and I drop like 6. This season, I was a little bit more selective where I'm only watching somewhere in like the 15, 16 range, but I haven't dropped anything yet. So I think that's a testament with this season where I agree. There are some shows that caught me a little off guard with not me necessarily thinking that they were going to be bad, but how much better that they are than like my initial reactions going into it. So, yeah, it's a very pleasant season, I would say. And you know what? Watching 16 shows sometimes is a good change of pace, and maybe I should do it more. But Jay, you mentioned it already. The first show that we're going to be talking about, which is could not say better, a breakout, is Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. A show I think going into it we were all pretty hyped for. To me, I thought this like on paper was gonna be the ceiling was gonna be like a 9, just based off like the concept. Like adults, zombies. How good could it actually be? Especially with like a new incoming studio taking the helms of Zom 100, and to my surprise, episode 1 was brilliant. It was one of the best first episodes I've seen this year. If I made a list of best first episodes I've ever seen, it might make like the top 10. I legit thought it was that good. There's so many different elements to the story that I just gravitated towards. There's one scene in particular when they go from like the gray tone to full color was just brilliant. There's man, this show is great. What's like your initial thoughts on Zom 100?
I wholeheartedly agree with your assessment. This was a show that I was a little bit nervous for, obviously, because Bug Films is a completely new studio, from what I understand. They may have some. I'm not sure of their staffing. They probably have some like veteran animators and stuff.
They
I
came from
assume.
OLM, so
Oh, okay,
kind of an
okay,
established
got
studio, I
it.
would say.
Yeah, but still a breakout. Like they only have like 1,300 followers on Twitter right now. Looking at their Twitter page, which is kind of nuts. You should go follow them, by the way, if you're interested in Zom 100. They post a lot of like concept art and stuff like that, it seems. But this was actually something that I had read the manga of. I started reading the manga of it right around the time I started the Manga Melee podcast, and I talked about a bit on there. I've really enjoyed the manga for this, so I want it to get a good adaptation. And I think it's safe to say so far, this seems like it's going to be a great adaptation. Um, the use of color is just fantastic, which is something that the manga uses for its volume covers and stuff. It's something that I think kind of has added itself to the identity of the manga is those bright neon colored volumes that help it stand out in bookstores and stuff like that. The characters in this are fantastic so far, and there's going to be characters introduced in like the next few episodes. I'm sure you saw them in the OP and ED,
Yep.
and they're the other characters that are going to get introduced are just as good as the main two that we've been introduced to so far, if not better, in my opinion, actually. So this is something that I think only has the possibility to go up from here, and I think this is going to be thought of as like the breakout show of the season for sure.
I honestly believe that you could make a case that this is probably gonna be one of, if not the breakout show of the year. It's just that I mean, to me, I think it's that good. Funny that you bring up like the other characters. The only complaint that I've seen from manga readers is that they've toned down the fan service, which to me is a plus. But we should see how that gets handled when the samurai character gets introduced, because I mean,
She has some bajongers.
yeah, she's packing heat. My biggest concern with Zom 100 though is not actually the show itself; it's the studio, and by that I mean Bug Films is they had this breakout role with Zom 100, similar to Studio Bind, who had the breakout role with Jobless Reincarnation. So is Zom 100's next property going to be a gender bending, sister loving show? I hope not. That's my biggest concern about this property, because so far through 2 episodes, I think it's near perfect. Uh, the OP is so much fun. The visuals just make it so. I think it's just adds like a whole other level to the gore and the story that it's trying to tell, but like gore in like a different sense than just like blood. It's like the main character, it's like all about freedom and experiencing like this world after work, and to him that's exciting and fun. So why not make the surroundings fun? And it's the surroundings are blood and like gore and stuff, and I think they just do it like a great job of obviously telling us that this is blood. You see people getting eaten in the streets and stuff like that, but like at the same time, you're smiling and you're laughing and like you're along for this adventure. Like it reminds you of something like Zombieland or whatever, that live action movie where like it's a comedy during an apocalypse. And to me, that like these are the vibes that I'm getting with this. It's just like an overall fantastic show. To me, this is an absolute must watch. Breakout show of the season, breakout show of the year. I do think it's interesting that Netflix is dropping the live action movie in August, so midway through the season that we will be getting the movie for this. So I will be watching that after I watch the anime. But yeah, to me, just like it's an absolute must watch. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, 100% an absolute must watch. I'm loving this show. I would agree with basically everything that you've said so far. What do you think about like the concept of his bucket list? How do you feel about that? What they showed at the end of episode 2.
Yeah, I think that's cool because I think he like really enjoys the freedom aspect of it, but I think he's at the same time he's being realistic with what's going on. I like that undertone where he's setting out for adventure before he kind of turns into a zombie or dies essentially. And it's just like it's a different type of bucket list where the people like I want to travel the world and all this stuff. Like his was just like I want to lay around and drink beer. I haven't been able to do that in 3 years. And I think that's like real like I think that's like a really fun goal to go after. But then he has like some more serious stuff at the end. I think like the last thing he writes was like find the girl of his dreams, I believe was the last thing that he wrote. So I like the contrast of this being silly, but I do think that we're going to have like these serious moments with like the cast itself. So yeah, huge fan.
Yeah, this definitely feels like it could hit the how we could talk about like the Goldilocks zone for like temperature and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For the sake of anime, I think that we can coin the term the Golden Kamui zone,
Oh, I
which
like
is where
that.
it strikes a mix of drama, heartwarming, and comedy, which I think Golden Kamui is just like the perfect blend of all of those.
Agreed.
And I think Zom 100 has some serious potential to hit those notes, especially when you have like one of his bucket list items was like spend time with my mom and dad
Yeah,
one last time.
that was tough.
Like that as someone who lives far away from my family, that would hit.
That
I'm
one
not
hit
gonna
too.
lie.
Yeah.
And then like another one is like grow dreadlocks or
Yeah.
which is gonna be interesting to see. And from what I understand, I only have like the first 3 volumes of the manga, so I'm not like current with it. Um from what I understand, we do see him go through every single item of the bucket
Oh,
list.
nice.
Like it's not just like they're going to skip over it and do some off screen. Like we'll at least get some moment of him doing one of them, even if it's just like maybe a montage for some of the
Oh,
smaller
sure.
ones.
I could see that. I think on paper that this is trending towards getting more content, especially with the live action movie being displayed on Netflix. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping that we
100%.
get a lot more and like this
It
is like
it does
studio.
well on the Oricon charts too.
Oh,
So
awesome! Yeah, but like
yeah,
if this is like if Bug Films, they're a brand new studio. Like if they want to be known as the studio, like David Productions is like JoJo and um
Appa with Yuri on Ice, and that's what broke them out.
oh man, man, if you are unaware of that, oh, that's funny. But yeah,
Yeah.
like they could be like this could be like their show, and I think that it's on paper is just perfect for them. So yeah, absolute must watch for me.
100% agreed.
All right, let's move on to our next show. A little bit different than Zom 100. It's My Happy Marriage, a show that I've read the first 2 volumes for, so I kind of knew what to expect. And I think the anime is better than the manga through I know it's only 2 episodes, but the first episode had this incredible scene with Mio's backstory going through like some stuff with her mom, and I love when music adds another layer to the story. And to me, that has an incredible moment in episode 1 with music, and I think that it's going to continue hitting these emotional marks for me in this story, and that's kind of like what I'm gravitating towards in this entire story. This emotional buildup of somebody who has been it's sort of Cinderella like, where she has been locked away, kind of been doing all the odd chores while the other sister is the golden child, and now she's kind of discovering how to be somebody outside of that role. And it's just been a fantastic watch through 2 episodes. I'm trying to think of like on paper, to me, like this is just it's checking every box. I'm absolutely loving it. Jay, what are your initial thoughts so far on My Happy Marriage?
So I'm gonna be real. The first episode, it was definitely emotional, but I was a little bit bored as a shonen meathead in a few ways. I did enjoy like the character work was really good in the first episode and the second episode too, but I think it toned down a little bit in the second episode personally. Like there was a lot of emotional heavy lifting going on in the first episode and I enjoyed that aspect. But I feel like it felt like it was like an hour long. Like
Oh, sure.
it felt like I was watching the first episode of Uku again, but the first episode of Uku like
It's
I
actually 80
enjoyed
minutes.
I enjoyed it is actually 80 minutes and I enjoyed it like the whole time too. Whereas this like it just felt the pacing was very like slow and deliberate, which it's not a complaint. It's just like yeah, I got a little bit bored personally. But the second episode, I felt like I was not expecting this like supernatural element to be like so full like that. Like
Hmm.
I was kind of expecting it to be more of like they were just being superstitious with the allusions to it in the first episode because I
Hmm.
went into this very blind. Like I didn't even read like the mal description or anything. So whenever I see my guy using like ice lasers and stuff like that in the
Yeah.
second episode, I'm like, what? What? So that got my attention, and I really liked how they're going. I like how they're going through with the marriage aspect of it, like with her and him. Like I think that they're both very interesting characters who are complex, and I like that he has like a kind of rough exterior, but he's not like a complete dickhead all the time. Like he can acknowledge when he is a little bit harsh, and he has reasons for acting the way that he does. Like he's tsundere, but in a realistic way, in my opinion. kind of like
He reminds me of Kyo from Fruits Basket.
it's giving a lot of Fruits Basket vibes for sure. Like he's a mixture of like Kyo and Yuki, honestly.
And Sub-Zero.
Yeah, and Sub-Zero, exactly.
So hypothetical, you're in a room with Kaya, Kano, or Kanoko, and Hitler, and you have a gun, and you have 2 bullets. Who you shooting?
Oh, Kaya 3 times.
Oh.
I don't know where I'm finding the 3rd bullet, but
yeah, I was like, this hypothetical only had 2.
Miles is gonna hate me for that one, but it is what it is. He's just being contrarian.
Oh, for sure.
A little bit inside baseball there, but just gonna pick on Miles while he's not here. He is the resident Kaya stan, and I feel like it's solely because other people do not like her.
No, well, after the first episode, the first thing I said about the show was I really need some people to get murdered. So, and that was a direct shot at Kaya. So, and then Miles,
honestly, less so Kaya, because it seems like she at least has like some subconscious feelings about the abuse and shit like that, because they kind of hinted at it.
Mm-hmm.
More so the fucking stepmom.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, honestly, I would shoot Kanoko 3 times.
Okay.
Never mind. Kaya can, Sorry. I was mistaken on who Kanoko was for a second, but that jogged my memory. In the second episode, when she, like, crushed the fucking comb, I was oh, you need to fucking perish.
Yeah.
Like,
she needs
oh
to get
my
act,
god.
literally.
I mean, I hope she just gets, like, eaten by a demon or some shit, you know? Like, I don't need him to become a murderer over it, but like it'd be like if they were like your home has been attacked. We must go and protect your family. And then it's just like the demon. They come in and a demon is just like on top of her, like just eating her face.
Yep.
I'd be like, oh no, Konoko, we will avenge you.
Oh.
But yeah, this show's dope. I'm going to go back and rewatch episode 1 because I don't think I really gave it that fair of a shake at first.
I think it's I think for me at least, I'm really glad that I'm watching this weekly because these drama, emotional filled stories can, to me, it takes a lot, and
yeah,
it's what I love about it, but also like don't like about it. But
you're talking to someone who my partner and I, we watch Fruits Basket sometimes, and I have to watch like one episode of Fruits Basket and then put it up because it's like, damn, they put like a whole child abuse storyline into one episode multiple times. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of like the vibe I'm getting with this. I'm like, whew, all right, that was that was a good amount. Good thing like my Wednesdays are chill, so I can just like, all right, Wednesday I'm watching My Happy Marriage, and then I'm going to watch something actually happy afterwards. But to me, this is, for somebody like me, this is a must watch. If you're a fan of like historical romance, drama, I just feel like if you liked Fruits Basket, you'd probably like My Happy Marriage. So to me, it's a must watch. I think to most people, it's like a consider it, but yeah, if you're a fan of those like genres, I think this is one of the best so far. I mean, just because I know what's going to happen, I do think this is going to be one of the best like dramas / romances of the year.
Yeah, I think that this is if you like romance, this is an obvious must watch. I believe this is a shoujo, right?
I want to say yes.
It has the shoujo vibe to it because it's not like about pursuit or whatever, right? Like, it's a light novel series.
Yeah, I think this is kind of like Raven of the Inner Palace, where like it's technically not shoujo, but like the shoujo people claimed it as a shoujo.
It's the female demographic,
yeah, for sure.
to Wikipedia. So we'll for the sake of just using terms, we'll call it a shoujose.
Sure. Yeah,
if you're a shoujose person, this is a must watch. If you're a romance person, must watch.
Yep.
I think if you're like someone who likes like shonen stuff, you should give this a shot because I see the potential for some pretty cool like fight scenes and stuff to tide you over. Even if you like any bit of romance, then like at least give it a shot. You might find a new genre that you're into if you watch this. I think this could be a good intro romance for people who are trying to dip their toes into the genre, kind of like how I've been expanding my taste into romance
Yeah.
lately.
I want slight spoilers, but I'll just say Kyoka, the main male lead, don't fuck with him. I'll just put it
I
that
believe
way.
it.
Like, he is like a general of the army for a reason. So, yeah, so that's two must watches from me and Jay. Sakana! Moving on to our next show. Only a show that I'm watching is a show called The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. The first episode kind of took Twitter by storm for a day based off of its awful, awful CG, and they should be dragged through the mud because people looked like they were walking on banana peels. But for some reason, it's only the beginning, like 6 minutes are in CG. Oh, there's like one other scene that is, but like after that, it just goes to being like a normal anime. So if you can get past some of the worst CG you've ever seen, I'm a little numb to it because this studio did Handshakers, which has some of, if not the worst CG in anime. You can get through it, and it becomes kind of like a kind of typical rom-com. I will say the main character is a little bit more extroverted than I thought she was going to be. I just assumed that she was going to be introverted based off of her character design, and she's pretty forward a lot, and I do enjoy that in this story. But that being said, I would say that this is probably middle of the road rom-coms this year. But if you're trash like me and you eat this shit up for breakfast, I would definitely say go check it out. It's not going to win any awards, but I think if you're looking for a fun show to, in the meantime, to like watch something, and if rom-coms are your thing, I think this is a good one. I think this is going to be better than some of the other ones we're getting this season, like Red to Girlfriend. I could already say this is better than Red to Girlfriend. So if you're watching Red to Girlfriend, watch this instead, and then watch Red to Girlfriend down the road. So, yeah, that was The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. Jay's
Oh,
gonna be talking. Oh, you want?
I have one
Yeah,
comment about it. Sorry,
No, you're good.
if you went back like 10 years into the past and told like anime fans that Studio Gohans would have a visual legacy similar to that of Shaft or Madhouse, people wouldn't believe you. But here we are.
Yep.
They have a visual legacy, which is it's in one word. I would just describe it as bad.
Yep.
And now we can move on to the next one.
No, for sure. It's like when I watched Handshakers, and then I found out that GoHands was still in business. It surprised me. But like, this is one of those shows where like, if you see Studio Gohans as the studio, you're expecting it to be hot garbage, but then when it's average, it's like better than average. So that's kind of like where I'm on, where I'm like, oh, this is actually not terrible like all their other products. So actually, they have two. They have another product out this season that I'll talk about later, but I don't know if they're having some random resurgence where someone gave them a blank check or something like that. But Studio Gohan's randomly doing two projects this season, and they're both decent. Is honestly very surprising. But Sakana! That's that. Jay, you're going to talk about Ayaka. Is that how you pronounce it?
Ayaka, I think
Ayaka.
actually. Yeah, Ayaka is. Look, I'm just gonna TLDR it. This is not a must watch. This is. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like elemental, kind of like slight boys love vibes to it.
The art looks like the PV art or whatever looks like the Given poster.
Yeah, like I think they're. It feels like it's like BL bait. Like
Sure.
how we get a bunch of Yuri bait shows every year. This feels like BL bait to me. Like sincere BL
This is
bait.
Skate. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. Basically, the TLDR of it is that you know what? I'm just gonna read the Mal page.
All right.
It doesn't deserve to be huge. All right, Ayaka: A Story of Bonds and Wounds. Yanagi Yukito is an orphan who one day encounters an eccentric disciple of his father's. The strange man takes him to his birthplace on Ayakashima, made up of 7 islands where mysterious beings called Mitama and dragons are rumored to reside. There, Ito meets his father's 2 other disciples, who protect the harmony of Ayakashima, which soon threatens to collapse. Now, that description might sound like it tells you nothing, but here's the thing about this show. There is literally no substance to it, really. All it's got going for it is character designs and sometimes some pretty neat special effects. It's kind of just a monster of the week show where you have like 4 or 5 visually distinct characters who have their own like elemental powers or whatever and alignments, and they go off and do their thing. It feels like it's paving the road for some kind of Genshin Impact like mobile game or some gotcha.
Bro, you know what's funny? The first thing I was looking for like a picture for this to put into the stream. When I typed in Ayaka, the first thing that popped up is Genshin Impact.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure there's like a character in
Yeah, I think
Genshin
there
named
is. Yeah.
Ayaka, but like yeah, like it feels like they're just trying to set up like a mobile game or something like that. I'm not a huge fan of this. Like I will be watching it week to week just to see if it gets any better because like the fight scenes are pretty decent. The music is all right and I like the character design. So like it has the bones, but like the subs like it's literally a skeleton. Like the bones of a decent show are there, but there's just no meat on them.
Yep.
So I wouldn't, unless you're somebody who wants to like get in on the ground level of something that might be good someday. I would not recommend this at all, in my
Gotcha.
opinion.
It was not on my list of shows I'm considering adding, and based off that, I think I'm gonna keep it that way.
I think I'm literally the only person who is watching this in our Discord.
I
I've never seen anybody else talk about it.
I think that is correct. Next up though is a show that we are both watching, and I think we're both enjoying. Anime of the Year nominee frontrunner, um, anime trending winner, Crunchyroll award winner. That is Reborn as a Vending Machine. I've been hyping up this show for months now, and a big thing to me is I love the context of the show and what it's trying to perceive. So this show is about being reborn as a vending machine. So I want it to be wild and wacky and dumb and fun, and that's exactly what I'm getting. The fact that in the second episode they defeated a boss with Coca-Cola and Mentos, to me is peak writing. I think it's so much fun. I'm having an absolute blast. I love the I know it sounds really stupid to say, but the relationship between a girl and her vending machine is so cute and fun, dude. I'm honestly really enjoying this show. Jake, what are your thoughts as Reborn as a vending machine?
It's all right.
Damn
Like it's good. Like I for the sake of memes, like it is fun. I enjoy that it is a different type of isekai. I'm a big fan of like isekai that are weird and like go in weird directions with it, and I think this is like probably a crystallization of that idea in
Mm-hmm.
its most pure form because like he's a fucking vending machine. That's weird.
That is weird.
Uh, I'm enjoying it a bit so far. I would like I know that the point of an isekai is that the main character isn't supposed to have any personality, so you can like kind of self-insert into it. But I would like to know like for Boxo to have a bit more personality, I guess. All the other characters are super dope though. I've been enjoying it. Definitely been watching it as soon as it drops every week, so you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just stuff like the world where the director is a bear for some reason while everybody else is humans. I don't know. Shit like that to me is funny. Like, why not? Like, the main character is a vending machine and can only say like 7 different commands, and Lamis kind of figures out a way to communicate with him. It's stupid. It's dumb. I could write this, but you know what? It's fun, and that's what I'm having. I don't think this is a must watch at all. I think if you looked at its mal rating, you would probably avoid it. But if you're looking for silly, dumb fun, I like silly, dumb fun isekais, and as long as I hope it doesn't go the route where like they try to do something like really serious because the dude's a fucking vending machine. Like, do not go serious in the show like ever. As long as it just continues being fun, I'm gonna give this show like a 7 probably at the end of the year. Like, I think it's just dumb fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that if you're into isekai, then yeah, probably a must watch. But if you're like super into isekai, then you're probably just like shoveling all the anime in your
Yeah.
gaping consumption maw in any way. Um, yeah, I think that this has the ceiling of this is like an 8 in my opinion.
Yeah.
I simply can't see it going higher than that unless there's like an insane twist.
Mm-hmm.
But
What if they
so
Birdie Wing
far
it or something? Then just like what?
that would go kind of
That
crazy.
would go crazy. Yeah, get the mafia involved.
I would like. I'm curious to see if they add the romance element to it eventually, because it seems like they're kind of hinting at
Oh,
feelings and stuff like that,
hear
right?
hear me out. There's another vending machine, but it's not like reincarnated. It's just like
This is
literally a vending
a
machine.
regular vending machine
And
that
and
doesn't.
and Lamus gets jealous. He doesn't want the other vending machine to get stolen from her. And that's what I want. That's what I want. I
There
think
should
we
be an evil vending machine too.
Ooh. What would be in the evil vending machine?
Yeah. Well,
Diet
probably
Mountain Dew.
knives and panties,
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. Probably like yellow jacket pills, like that truckers take.
Ah yeah, like
Five
no-nos or something.
5 hour energy.
Prime energy drinks.
The fake fireball whiskey you can buy at a grocery
Oh
store.
dude, we're spitting right now. That would be such a
Yeah.
great end boss.
Also, it would be like broken. Like you would just be able to reach in and grab stuff, but it'd be like broken glass and stuff.
Or like you scan, like it's one of those ones that like takes a credit card and then
Yeah.
you like check your bank account and it's like pending for like $1,000 and now it overdrafts you. It's like, you motherfucker, I just wanted a Diet Mountain Dew.
See,
Okay.
that's actually triggering me because I've definitely at the college that I work at, the vending machines they definitely are pending for like a week
Yeah.
after you take something with a card. It's
Yep.
annoying as shit.
Yeah. My bad. I didn't mean to trigger you, but
It's okay.
we're,
Let's move on. That'll help me.
that is Reborn as Adventure 2. If you're looking for something fun, go check it out. Speaking of anime of the year, the runner-up is probably going to be this show. It's called My Tiny Senpai. Now, if you watch My Senpai is Annoying from, I think it was like a year and a half ago, and you're like, oh, you know what? That show was fun and cute, and, you know, they're adults, and they act like adults most of the time. My Tiny Senpai is going to be like that, right? Wrong. The whole bit is that the small senpai character acts like a cat the whole time, and while it can be cute, I will give it that, they play that 9 times an episode. Like she's always a cat. She's always acting like a cat.
Yeah, this
And
sounds dope.
okay, but it's like, I don't know how to describe it. In like an office setting, when it's like this kohai senpai relationship,
It would make me angry if I worked there. I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie.
it's just like a little off. Where I don't mind you know how like in DIY, there's that one girl who like sort of acted like a cat, but like
Yeah.
it was like once or twice an episode and it was fine. That amount is good to me. When it's like every scene she's in, she's some different version of a cat, whether it's like a playful cat or a feisty cat or a curiosity cat. Like, which version of the cat is she going to be in this situation? It's like, you know, this character's like 30, right? Like, it's like, it pulls me a little bit out of it. It is chill and there are some fun and cute parts, but to me so far through I believe I've watched 3 episodes, yeah. Just really average. Just if not borderline bad. I know a few people have already dropped it and I don't blame them. I it's just a bad copy of My Senpai is Annoying. And so to me, if you liked My Senpai is Annoying, I would maybe give it a shot. But other than that, I don't think I would recommend the show to almost anybody. So yeah, that's
Hey,
my Tiny Senpai.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that you were talking about the same show as my senpai is annoying whenever you're talking about this because they occupy the exact same brain space for me.
No, and they are very similar shows. Like the main lead is tall in both shows. The main female lead is very small. It's just in My Senpai is Annoying. I feel like they act like adults 70% of the time. And in this show, they act like adults maybe like 30% of the time. And when you have an adult cast, which is so rare in anime, I do wish it was more along the lines of them like go get drunk, like go do things that like you would do after work, and it would be fun to see this like environment in these situations. But instead, she's a cat. Like that's what I'm getting. So um yeah, it's very average. I have it at like a 5 right now. So I don't think I would drop it unless I do something like preposterous, but it's a nice chill watch before I go to sleep, but the the substance is not there. So that's my Tiny Senpai. Jay, I'm gonna pass over to you. You're gonna talk about a show that is this is like my if I pick up a show, it's probably gonna be this one. It's Undead Murder Farce.
So I will start with the disclaimer that actually only watched the first episode of this, and from what I understand, the first episode is more like setting up, like obviously, but
Yep.
it's like kind of setting up the duo, and then the second episode they're in a completely different setting, different part of the story, like different story arc happening more or less. So in the first episode, we kind of get introduced to a guy who is working in a circus as an oni fighter. So fighting like not necessarily oni in particular because that's like a specific type of like demon,
Mm-hmm.
but just fighting demons in general. And then it's revealed that he is a half oni, and that's why he's able to do that and such. And he has like the spirit of an oni inside of him that will one day take over and start like brutally killing people until he's like put down by the government or something like that. So he meets a woman who is carrying a cage with a cover over it that is talking to her, believes it to be ventriloquism, and they fight. Pretty dope fight scene, honestly. I think that the animation in the show is overall pretty solid. And then after they fight, it's revealed that the cage that she has a severed head in it, and that's when we meet like our secondary main character, who is a type of like being called the Immortal, and she was injured by an Oni who have the power to halt regenerative abilities, essentially, which
Oh,
is why her
okay.
body's not growing back. And she wants to hire our main character to kill her because she has no way of dying and doesn't want to live without her body. So they make like an oath and they kiss in order for him to get some of her cells, because if you have some of the cells of the immortal in you, it gives you like regenerative powers and such. So he's basically like her bodyguard, and he becomes a detective alongside her. And in the second episode, they get invited to England to investigate the murder of a vampire's wife, which I believe that is the full title is actually Undead Girl Murder Farce.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think that's what it's meant to be talking about, not necessarily like the severed head or whatever. Overall, pretty interesting show. OP is very good, by the way. I really enjoyed it. It had they had a lot of exposition at the start, and it did it in a very creative way that I think a lot of shows could do. Essentially, like they would have the action happening on screen, and then they would have just like bold letters on top of it giving exposition while
Oh,
other things
okay.
were going on, like telling you like this is a different Meiji era, stuff like that. And just instead of having like a narrator or character telling you, it's like we're just going to put it on the screen. You can read it while the action is happening, or don't. We don't care. So like I thought that was pretty dope, instead of just having like, the Hunter narrator going off and
Yep.
stuff like that. Overall, I think that this show, like, I don't think it has a super high ceiling, but I think that the floor isn't low either. I think it's going to be an average to above average show. I think that the character dynamics have the potential to be very interesting. So if you're somebody who likes like duo characters that have like interesting back and forth, similar to like Spice and Wolf or something like
Sure.
that, but a little bit less pretentious in this case, then I would definitely recommend this, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? After you telling me some of that, I also saw in like the PV art that they're behind, like in the background is like the Eiffel Tower, and you said that they're in England, so I'm gonna guess they bop around Europe and do stuff. So
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Yeah, give me some like Sherlock and Holmes or Sherlock and Holmes. Sherlock Holmes and Watson and I don't know, but in this case they're like
So about that,
okay.
actually, sorry to interrupt you, but the main villain that they introduced, like the guy who he like both tortured our MC and cut off the other one's head.
Okay.
He has like he's like a European guy with a cane that has M on it. So I'm assuming that's going to be Moriarty, if I'm being real. So
Ooh.
we're going to get straight up into some Sherlock shit.
Okay, I'm sold because I really enjoyed Moriarty the Patriot, and that was kind of, less vampires, but still that detective work going around Europe. So, yeah, you know what? I think I might pick this one up tonight. This one sounds fun. Yeah.
I was surprised by how much fun I was having with it. I did not expect much from it, but like I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm gonna definitely watch the second episode tonight after we're done recording.
I'm sold. Yeah. I'm gonna watch it tonight for sure. Okay.
Sakana!
Let's get to our next show that we're both watching, and that's Link Click Season 2. And
Spicy.
boy, yo,
Oh my
they
God.
got whatever their budget was in season 1, it got doubled season 2. We've not only gotten one but two like insanely choreographed, action-packed fights this season. We did see Lu Guang. He's kind of on the sidelines right now. He's rehabbing that injured hamstring, and Ling has, it's her time to shine. She's rising up to the challenge. And we get this Ling Zhaoxi dynamic that I think could be really good. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do in this season. Got some more, like a new, I don't know if I want to say threat, but possible threat with like that old detective who's in like private business now outside of like the core group who's, I don't know what side he's on, but I like that there's something else other than like the friend or whatever that they're trying to figure out who that is. Through two episodes, it's been spicy. Jay, what are your thoughts on Link Click so far?
Link Click Season 2's OP has a higher budget than your favorite anime.
Oh my god, so good.
Holy. They went all out with this. And I feel like dropping 2 episodes to begin with was really just like putting it all on the table right there, showing like how good this season is going to be. Like, there was not a single like frame of bad animation
Mm-hmm.
in these 2 episodes. They were just going insanely hard. I think that the only thing that they didn't go hard on is like the little thing at the beginning where they say follow us and they're not moving at all.
Oh
But I
yeah.
like I don't care about like that doesn't matter at all. It was just kind of like funny to compare that to like the rest of it where everything's like super fluid, or like in the case of like the OP that has CG that looks near
Yeah,
photorealistic
it's
at
insane.
times. This is a must watch for me, 100%. I already know you're gonna say that too. If you're familiar with how we feel about Link Click, which we actually reviewed a few watch clips ago, go watch that if you haven't. You know that we're gonna be all high on this. Uh, there's just not much to say on it besides you need to be watching this if you're not. Catch up to it. Do whatever you have to do. Just watch it. It is good.
Mm-hmm. That follow me thing. That's funny that you brought that up. To me, that is like the guy who runs the studio. His son wants to be an animator, and he's on the team. And they're like, "You gotta give him something to do." And they're like, "Okay, you can make this thing." And all the other people are like, actually making the anime. And this one guy did this like follow me thing that they do in the beginning. But I love it when they like surprise us that it wasn't announced that they were going to drop both episodes until the day of. They're like, yeah, by the way, we're dropping both episodes tonight. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was getting ready for bed. I'm like, I guess I'm staying up for another 45 minutes so I can watch
We
both
didn't even
episodes.
know we didn't even know we were getting the second season until like a month
Yeah,
ago or
right?
something. Like it was like right after we finished watching it. I think
Yeah.
it got set like AX or
Yep.
something like that,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, they're like, oh,
Yeah,
season 2, by the way, first 2 episodes of AX. And they're like, 2 weeks later, oh, by the way, both episodes dropping now. I'm like, all right.
insane. Absolutely insane. I love it.
Yeah, I guess the only negative is that the episodes drop at like 10:30 by time PM. Other than that,
Yeah.
like,
I had to
man,
stay up to watch them,
yeah,
but it was worth.
yeah, it's just off to such a great start. I just love what Link Click does so well is just like I can't predict what's going to happen next. I have no idea. And that's what I love, where there's so many shows that are just so predictable in the writing. Link Click just goes above and beyond the mystery element of this show, and it just blows me away. Like, I think in our review, I gave it a 9 with like the possibility of being a 10 based off how it like closes everything out. Because I'm still leaning that this is going to be the final season. However, this franchise is blowing up by the second, so we'll see. Since this is original, I guess you can twist it any way that you want. But I mean, through 2 episodes, must watch, on pace for a 10. It's so good, yeah. Fight of the year, like all that jazz, all of that in Link Click. It's so good.
If they don't include Link Click in the Fight of the Year nominees, it's racially motivated.
For 100%.
Like honestly, like, and it's on Crunchyroll, so I don't see why they wouldn't include it. But like, if they put like some random like Chainsaw Man fight over this, because there's only so many like, slots, right?
Yeah, there's like 6. Yeah,
I know it. I'm gonna be mad about it. I can already tell it's gonna get excluded. I'm gonna be mad about it. I'm not gonna get mad about it now. We'll save it for then when they upset me. But yeah, wholeheartedly agree. Must watch, on pace for a 10.
The Crunchyroll Awards are in Japan again this year, so I don't know what Japan's relationship with China is right now, but they could be like,
They do. They have enough popularity with Link Click that they like renamed the character, gave the characters like Japanese code names in the dub and Japanese dub and everything. So I think it'll probably be fine.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So if you're not watching Link Click, you are. I hope you're in a coma, because that's literally your only excuse. So like, go out and watch Link Click. Next up, Jay, you're watching this one. The next part of Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War. What's happening in Bleach?
Oh man, Bleach is fantastic as it was like last season. Every episode has been movie quality. My only issue is that I wish the episodes were longer, because the second one ended a bit abruptly for my taste. Like, kind of it ended in almost the middle of a conversation, but I can't hate on it because just how quality everything's been so far. The new OP is amazing. If you're into like My Chemical Romance at all, you should go give that a listen. The guy is doing his best Gerard Way impersonation. The animation, like I said, is just fantastic. This is Studio Pierrot's best work since like that one Naruto fight. Like, they finally have stuff to talk about again. Yeah, I don't know. This is just fantastic. Bleach is finally getting like a good adaptation, and I'm happy about it. Like, this is great. They've added a few things to the anime to match what Kubo's vision was that he wasn't able to include in the manga because of his health at the time. So that's awesome. It's good to see like an anime adaptation of a shonen that's like definitive. Like, I think it's interesting to see that move towards like remastered animes becoming like the definitive edition of their story. And I think Bleach is going to be like the prime example that people use for that going forward, because like we've just had like 14 episodes of like movie quality stuff so far. And I think that even if you're somebody who like didn't really like Bleach or wasn't really watching all that much, I think that you could watch like the first season of 1,000-Year Blood War and you'd be fine. That might be blasphemous to the Bleach fans, but they do a pretty good job of like explaining stuff, because I think they figured that, hey, it's been over a decade since a lot of people watch this. Not everybody's, rewatching Bleach every year. We have to kind of explain the bare bones of what's going on. I think you'd be more or less fine. There's going to be some like not even tertiary characters, like whatever the layer below tertiary is, that you might be like, oh, I don't know your name. But you'll be fine because whatever, who cares? They're just like there's some unnamed Soul Reaper to you. Fine, it's cool.
Gotcha.
I would recommend this for anybody who loves shonen. I mean, I think if you're into Bleach at all, you're obviously watching this, so I don't really need to like sell it. Give it a shot if you haven't watched Bleach, in my opinion. Worst case scenario, you just get to see some cool fights in the first episode. So
awesome. Moving on to a show that only I'm watching. It is the second season of Jobless Reincarnation And if this is your first time joining us, your second time, millionth time, you know that I'm a Rudy hater, but I enjoy the show itself. I think it has a lot of great elements where it's a passable show with an irredeemable main character. Season 2 has been, I'm gonna be honest with you, straight ass. We got episode 0, which I think people caught people off guard because we did. I don't think it was announced that it was getting an episode 0 where Sylphie got like her own episode of like what she's doing now, which I really enjoyed. That's cool because like it shows that she's going to be a prominent character going forward. And then after that, we go back into the main story of what happened after season 1. And Rudy is just turning into the biggest white knight I have ever seen in anime history. No problem in the world can be solved unless Rudy does it. And it's driving me crazy. You have this group of adventurers who are in a fight and they can't do shit, but you know who can? Rudy can. It's like, guess what? You probably shouldn't be adventurers. Oh man, this show is infuriating at points. There was one thing that I really liked about like the other season is how they do the animation with not only the fights but the magic itself, and they've done that a little bit. So that's good, but like honestly, through 3 episodes, I honestly think this is like a 6 or a 7, where looks beautiful, but I mean everything else has just been really bad. Like I am not enjoying it, like really not enjoying it. I wish that they would move away from it because I think that was like a great part of season 1 where when they like team fought, they were fighting as a team. And now it's just like lol, Rudy OP, big old AoE move, kill everything, ha ha ha. Like nobody else can fight, right? So that's my biggest complaint. I hope it changes. But yeah, or Rudy dies, even though I know he won't, but you never know. Maybe the anime switches it up and they make Sylphie the main character. But yeah, I mean, through 3 episodes, it's been for a show that I'm expecting a lot from, I'm not getting it. It's like a 6 right now.
So not worth catching up with to watch?
I mean, right now, no, but it's just like, as much as I clown on Rudy, I do think the show is really good. It's just tough. We're just like, I know we just did like Golden Boy, but like if you don't like ecchi, like I get why you wouldn't like Golden Boy, but I do think like fundamentally it is a great show. This Jobless Reincarnation, everything else is great, but the main character. So like I get like it's the same thing with Golden Boy. If you don't like ecchi, I get why you
Golden Boy kind of.
Well, yeah.
Kintaro's awesome.
Kintaro is awesome, but like it has elements that would drive people away from it, and like I completely understand that. That's the same thing with this show for me. It's just like the music is so good, the animation's incredible. One of the fights last year was in like my fights of the year. Eris, I think, is an incredible character. There's so many good things to say about the show, but when your focal point is just a constant negative, it's tough. And with no exception this season, he's kind of like in a discovery phase, I feel like, and how he's trying to perceive himself to other people is not who he actually is, and he kind of gets called out on it. And I just don't like how it's handled. It's just it's so like out of nowhere to force Rudy into these positions that I don't think would happen in like others. It's hard to describe without seeing it, but it's just I'm not enjoying what I'm seeing so far. Yeah, I gave like season 1's like an 8.5. I think it's really good. Season 2 so far is a 6. Yeah, but I don't want to hang out too much because I know a lot of people like it. But honestly, it's just been disappointing. Sakana! Let's move on to something fun, and I hope the main character is not a pedophile. That's Helck. So during recording though, as of right now, I think only the first episode has came out. I think we get episode 2 like tomorrow or something like that, but
it's in like 15 hours or something.
Yeah, so we're basing these initial reactions on 1 episode. It has like an 8.2 manga, so going into it I had pretty decent expectations for it. The first half of episode 1 I was a little bored. I didn't really know where it was going, but then the second half I thought it really picked up. It sort of reminded me of Food Wars a little bit, where it was a little comical in like the tests that they were doing. I was like, oh, this is fun for a human who hates humans. This is kind of fun. So it's tough to like give a recommendation through only one episode, but I think from what I saw at the end of that episode, if it continues going that way, I think we're going to be in for a treat. Jay, what are your thoughts on Helck?
Oh, I'm loving it, honestly. Main character has a super fun voice. I've been really enjoying that. I like his like attitude and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Vermilio is pretty interesting to me. She reminds like she has like the explosion thing, like Megumin
Yep,
kind of going on, mixed with like you know typical like angry secondary lead character deal, which I like that in comparison to Helck. I think it'll be interesting to see them like interact with each other, which I assume we'll get in the next episode. Um, I just want. I'm curious to see which of these cast members are actually going to be like important because the tournament feels like it can only go on for so long,
yep,
and then it's going to be stuff happening after that. So it's just hard to get attached to a lot of the cast besides for like Vermilio, Helck, and then maybe the other guy running the tournament because the rest of them feel like they're just going to like disappear after that to me.
for sure.
Overall, though, I'm like really enjoying this. It reminds me a bit of Mashal
A
from
little
last
bit. Yep,
season, where you just have like this really overpowered main character, but he's a bit more like he's not as stoic as Mash, which I enjoy. Um, because like while the humor in it was seeing like Mash like deadpan react to things, it's nice to just have like a sort of like change,
yep.
if that makes sense.
No, 100%. I get that for sure. I think a good thing with this, though, I know we're only basing this off of one episode, but the fact that it is two core gives me hope that what I see and they have a vision of what they want to put out there, I think it's going to be there. In terms of like a recommendation, I think for right now, I don't want to say it's bad, but I think this is a show where like I think if you gave it like if you waited till like 3 episodes were out and then gave it its fair shot, I think you'd have a better idea of where this show is going. Just through one episode right now, I thought it was okay. So no, in no realm am I dropping this, but I do think I might actually let some episodes build up. It depends on how active our Discord is talking about it, but I am kind of feeling that maybe I let it build up for 2 or 3 weeks and then I binge it and I'm like, okay, this is where it's going. So those are my
Fair.
2 cents on it.
I think that's fair, honestly. Um, yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I've heard a lot of good things about the manga, so maybe I'll still watch it weekly. But it might just end up where, like, if I'm interested enough in it, I might just end up reading the manga,
Yep.
which happens to me pretty often. So I guess we'll kind of see where I land
It's only
with
12
that.
volumes, so it'll probably be a quick read.
Yeah, it's not that long at all, from what I understand.
Makes
So
makes me think that we're probably gonna get the whole thing adapted.
yeah,
Yeah, you can do 12 volumes for episodes for sure.
100%.
Right on. So that's Helck. Before we get to our last show, we're gonna go over shows that we are like considering picking up, or shows that we didn't have time to get to. So I will go first.
Sakana!
I think based off what Jay said, I am going to pick up Undead Murder Farce, and we'll probably review that at the end of the season. 2 shows that are on my watch list that I haven't started yet, but I will be. That's Sugar Apple Fairy Tale Season 2. Loved how Season 1 ends. Just been really busy with other shows, so I will be getting to that. And then Mao-sama Season 2, Part 2, or whatever they're calling it. I thought last season sucked until the last 2 episodes where I was like, okay, I'll watch the next part. They kind of redeemed themselves. But other shows that I'm watching, The Masterful Cat is depressed again today. If you need a nice Iyashiki cooking silly show this season, this is it. This show is great. I'm really liking it. I love the idea of like this giant cat just like doing like essentially like household work and going shopping, and people don't know if it's like a human or a real cat or if it's, I don't know. There's a lot of hijinks in it. It's just like a really fun and easy show to watch. I'm also watching Rent a Girlfriend season 3 because It's
That
trash, but I've already watched the first 2 seasons, so let's keep it going. I've only watched the first episode. Spoiler, it's bad. So no recommendations for me there. Duke of Death and His Maid season 2. Loved season 1. Season 2 has been great. They got a little emotional last episode, which I really like that tone that they set because I mean the whole it was with the 2 side characters, but they're a great cast too. But like I just love this idea of like the adventure of love and trying to, you know, he can't touch her because he'll kill her if he touches her. But like they're still madly in love with each other and they still have fun together. I really like that. It's a really unique taste on romance. Yeah, and the last one is Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence. It's a show about like a saint, this like spiritual saint who has like powers, ends up at a town, sort of is homeless, and then the pastor like lets her live in the church, and then they do church things, and it's kind of like a rom-com. It's cute. It's alright. I think I only watched 1 episode so far. I think there might only be 1 episode out at the time of recording, but yeah, it's alright. Like it's not winning anything. I think if you're going to pick like an alright rom-com to watch this season, I would still lean The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. So that's that. Jay, are you planning on adding anything to your watch list or anything that we missed that you want to talk about?
might watch Horimiya and then watch the new Horimiya stuff for good stuff about that. I think if people have not watched the Fate Strange Fake Whispers of the Dawn
I need to
episode,
do
you should
that.
watch. You should watch that because it is very self-contained and it is basically just like fun. It's just good fun. So even if you're not like a super big Fate person, I just recommend it if you just want to watch like, you know, couple historical figures brawling with some UFO'table. Uh, I actually don't know if it's UFO'table. It probably or A1 pictures.
Yep.
Sorry, with some A1 pictures, special effects. It's pretty solid, and I'll be watching the anime for that whenever it comes out. I think I probably will pick up Saint Cecilia. It sounds interesting to me. Masterful Cat is depressing in a day is on my list.
Yeah, you love it.
I'm gonna be watching Record of Ragnarok 2 Part 2 just because I like the manga and I've heard that it's gotten a bit better from the literal like trauma inducing for me first season.
Yeah.
Like that was the first manga that I've had that had like a bad adaptation and it was traumatizing for me practically. And I might give Liar Liar a shot, but probably not. I don't know, man.
Ooh,
I've
I'm
heard
hearing bad things.
I've yeah, exactly. And I'd love to watch VSD 5, but I am like 3 seasons behind on that. But I've heard nothing but good things about that. So exciting.
Yeah, right on. Okay. I missed Horimiya. I'm also watching Horimiya Pieces. I love Horimiya, and Pieces has been great. So yeah, I am watching that. But let's get to our last show. The absolute blockbuster of the season, Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. One thing that I love, and this is a pat on the back for me, but episode 1, I was like, this reminds me a lot of the Bosi versus Boji fight from Ranking of Kings. I was like, this director looks, or the style that he's using it looks exactly like that. And it was the same director of episode 21 of Ranking of Kings. So I was like, oh, yes, I nailed that. Like, way to go, me. I'm a fucking weeb. But I think what's really cool about that is I think we're kind of seeing a director stand out in a way where it's like, this is his style of like animation, like the same way that where if you see something that looks like Your Name, you're like, oh, that's Shinkai. Oh, that if you see like a Ghibli, oh, that's Miyazaki. Like this style of like action directing is so unique, and I adore it. I think it's incredible how he layers like the animation in scenes, and props to just this work. Um, didn't really know how much I would like season 2 compared to season 1, but you can I think from episode 1 you can see the increase in budget, the increase in production. It just looks crisp. I assume that this was probably going to be my favorite show of the season. It's like neck and neck with Zom, but season 2 has been off to a fantastic start. Jay, I know you love JJK. What's your thoughts so far through the first 2 episodes of JJK?
Oh yeah, I'll save my like fanboyism aside a bit and just say that the vibes in just the animation and stuff are so different from this season. Like the first season of JJK, I think it really had that like Mappa distinct feel to it,
Yep.
like kind of similar to like the Mappa seasons of Attack on Titan, where we have like the shading and the hard faces and stuff like that. Whereas this season has a much more like stylized, like unique to
Yep.
itself style to it, and I'm really enjoying that. Like even just like the little like chibi scenes we've been getting and stuff like that are awesome. I've really loved that. Um, this season is just great so far. It's everything I could have wanted it to be. I know people were being kind of off about it whenever it first like the trailer and stuff kind of came out. People were not super excited about it, but I think that they've been soundly proven wrong already, and it's as someone who knows what's going to happen, it is only going to get more insane and just better overall. Like you really don't have any idea what you're in for this season, in my opinion. And
Mm-hmm.
the next core is going to be even crazier.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Shibuya. Not a whole lot to say, only through 2 episodes, but I mean, near perfect from what I saw. I love what they're setting up. I really enjoy this. You know how we ended season 1 into kind of getting this backstory. I know some people don't like that transition. I think they want to go straight into like the next arc. I really like this storytelling. I really like how it's structured. I think Gigi did a great job of sort of breaking apart from the chaos at the end of season 1 to provide us with this information that's, I'm assuming, going to be very relevant going forward. So huge props to just the storytelling, the storyboarding for JJK. And yeah, I mean, not much to say. I know people are in the beginning where it's like, oh, this is gonna be anime of the year good. I was like, nah. And I'm like, you know what? This might be anime of the year good enough. Like, it's been just from what I saw, and it's only, I'm assuming, going to get wilder and crazier and more chaotic and more substance. Is only going to lead to more output. Like, we're eating right now. Like, I feel bad for the people who don't like shonen and go out of the way to not watch it, because JJK is fucking great, and season 2 has been nothing less than what actually it's I gave season 1 a 9. I was like, if it's like if it's close to that, I'll be happy. And it's like, I'm through 2 episodes, I'm like, this is already like some of the best JJK I've watched. So huge fan. Probably going to be a 10 when at the end of the season, but yeah, been, I mean, 2 stars, 5 stars, 2 thumbs up. Highly recommend.
Yeah, no, absolute same. I mean, nobody who knows anything about me as a reviewer is surprised that I'm going to give this a must watch. Um,
What?
if you're into show, yeah, I know. If you're into shonen at all, go watch this. Honestly, the thing about it is like at the point where we're at right now, even if you haven't seen the first season of JJK, you can go watch the first couple episodes of JJK too, and you'll pretty much be alright.
Yeah.
Like it's a prequel, so you're good. But go watch the first season too, because the first season is also dope. But if you want to see like what we're talking about, even if you have it, you'll be okay. Like you're not gonna really get spoiled on
Mm.
anything so far.
Question for you though, since I know
Yeah.
Miles brought this up in the Discord. When should people watch JJK Zero by to get like the real
Uh,
experience?
just but like I
Like
would
like
say
should you
like
watch it before episode 8 drops, or like before Shibuya starts?
I would probably try to get it done before Shibuya starts, in my opinion. Like you don't need to, but it definitely helps a lot. And there's certain plot points in JJK Zero that are in the movie specifically that kind of expand upon things that will be talked about in the second half of Shibuya, namely Gojo's personal relationship with like Geto and stuff like
Gotcha.
that. So
Cool.
definitely recommend.
Awesome. Well, that is our first impressions episode. Let us know what you are watching or what we should be watching, whether it's in the comments, joining our Discord, whatever it is. Let us know. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the episode. But that is all. If you are interested, or if you want to support us, the best way to do so is to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on. Next week, for Watch Club, we will be doing Megalobox Season 2 Nomad. I'm through 3 episodes, and spoiler, it's really good. Otherwise, if you are here for our non-Watch Club content in 2 weeks, is episode 200, and we will be celebrating by playing Anime Jeopardy 10. So look forward to that. Jay, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a good time. I know I did.
I know I had a great time. It's always a pleasure to be invited on these, so thank you for inviting me, Peter. I appreciate it.
Of course. And thank you to the listeners. And until next week, we will say goodbye and good night. Peace.